All right, hi, I'm Craig the geologist. I'm here with Todd Warner, and we are at Nethers Farm. Now, this location is in, I would call this Southern Ohio.
Southern Ohio,
Southern
yep.
Ohio? All right, yeah, we're in Southern Ohio here. And on Flint Ridge, the geological structure, Flint Ridge, the archaeological site, is a few miles away. And time permitting, we might go and check that out a little bit later. But you want to tell me, Todd, how you got me out here? Promising a big group meetup out here.
We was gonna plan a big group meet out, but here we are.
Yeah,
Me and Craig, we're gonna look for some flint today.
Our group from our team from Rock Hunters of the Great Lakes. I think we had about 5 or 6 people saying they were going to come out here, and every one of them dropped out. Now, Todd, on a scale of 9 to 10, how lame would you say that makes them?
I'd say pretty lame, but
yeah, I'd say at least a 9.5 out of 10.
Probably,
there, right? Yeah, okay. All right, we stopped filming for a moment because my bag kept falling off and driving me nuts here. So here we are. But Nethers Farm is a privately owned but publicly accessible location for a fee. So it's $10 entry fee, and then $1 per pound of rock you collect, which is very reasonable. And frankly, you're going to spend more money on that on your gas to get here anyways. So why not support what they're doing here? I really wish there were more places like this around the country. There's just too few places to collect in a lot of regions. It'd be nice if privately owned property would open up like this for collectors. It's really great. Is this your first time here, Todd?
this will be my second time here. We found some nice pieces the first time, and we really enjoyed it coming down here, and that's why I tried to talk you into joining me this time. So.
All right. Well, let's get looking here. The path in is absolutely littered with flint everywhere. So let me show you that here. Yeah. So the trail on the way in is just littered with flint pieces. Probably discarded from people's buckets as they're on their way out. But yeah, it's a good sign. I'm really looking forward to doing some collecting here. All right, so Nethers Farm here has these pits scattered around. Todd, how many pits are there like this?
Probably 15,
All
20.
right. We've only just walked in, so I think I've seen 2 or 3 of them and haven't actually gone into any of them. But there are plenty of places to work. They do ask that you don't damage the tree roots. Don't dig up any vegetation. You know, they don't want you ruining their forest. It is useful to come with a shovel and a pickaxe, but if you just come without those tools, look at just the amount of discarded stuff here. This isn't garbage. This is some beautiful, beautiful material that, you know, folks have left behind because they were looking for something else. So even if you don't have the equipment to do some, you know, proper mining or quarrying, there's plenty to just pick up off the ground. It is everywhere. It is gorgeous. All they ask for is a very small fee, and it's really, I'm really excited about this. What'd you find there?
There's some good banding on this one.
See if we can get that in focus properly there. Oh, that's beautiful. Now, you were telling me earlier that the black material is what Native Americans used to look for out here?
That's what they tried to look for because it fractures the best for making flint projectiles.
All right. Is this a little bit harder than the rest, or is it
It just seems to not fracture into pieces. It flakes more than fracturing.
Okay. Now, do we know whether Native Americans used to collect from here, or was it
I
only
don't
at the
think they
Flint
collected
Ridge
this site, but they collected from the Flint Ridge site. There was a lot of evidence about that, and it's a historic site now.
And it's a little bit confusing because we are on geologically the Flint Ridge. However, the Flint Ridge site is a specific archaeological site that's just a few miles away from here on the geological Flint Ridge. All right, this pit is looking very fresh. Although I'm not very optimistic about this. It seems like they dug through a massive amount of dirt. Probably disrupted some roots that the owner of the property wouldn't be too happy about, and barely hit any rock at all on the bottom. Oh, But have a look at this. Maybe they were finding something worthwhile here. That is gorgeous. All right, well, maybe we will be going into that pit in a few minutes.
This is just all scattered on top right here.
Oh.
But I think this is the stuff, that's what they go after for the points.
Holy crow.
That's why they dug the big hole, because the good stuff's down there.
But this is beautiful material here. I guess this is just the garbage they didn't want. I use that term loosely. I find so much stuff scattered around places where people have been digging that they've left behind, and I'm like, well, I don't know how that wasn't good enough for you. That's good enough for me.
Look at all the flakes over here.
Oh, somebody's been working this.
Somebody's been working this big time. Lots of flakes.
Now, do you think somebody was doing some amateur tool making out
There's
here?
a lot of guys that do amateur tool making. There's a lot of guys that actually sell their stuff at craft shows and stuff, make replica points.
All right. Yeah, this definitely looks like debitage, but of course I'm used to seeing the ancient Native American stuff is a little bit older than this. This is debitage from probably the last few weeks by the looks of this pit.
Check that piece.
Wow.
It looks...
I think that's a piece that someone was working on and then just
I think
gave up
so. It
on?
was right there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
if that was out in the cornfield, you'd think that was some kind of scraper or something.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, here's one that Todd just showed me that'll go into my pocket here, but I'm sure we'll find
You'll
a
find
lot
a
of
bunch.
gorgeous stuff like this today. I'm tired of doing this filming. Let's go collect some rocks. All right, well, I'm going to do a little digging here. I'm not sure it's actually necessary to dig, but I brought the tools, so why not? I am going to stay away from these trees, though. I've been on sites where we laugh and talk about moving some biologics out of the way, but this is private property, and they ask us to stay away from the trees and the roots. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be respectful, because if we're jerks, places like this disappear and aren't accessible to us anymore. So always respect the rules of the local landowners. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work the soil right over here, because there's beautiful rock there, there's beautiful rock here, there's soil here. I want to see what's there. This has been filled in and dug out before, if there's some nice rock underneath it. This tool here is a soil removal tool. It is not going to be good for actually going through the rock. Now, if you see the way I'm using this tool, I'm not swinging it wildly, and I'm not hitting the ground real hard. Yes, I could maybe get through the rock or the dirt a little faster if I really go crazy with it, but I also don't want fragments hitting myself or anyone around me. I'm doing safety first, because it's no good getting a rock if you lose an eye or a limb while you're at it. Also, doing work like this, if you don't already have 4 eyes, make sure you're wearing safety glasses, because I've had a couple of rock fragments hit me in the glasses already, and rock in the cornea does not feel good. I'm gonna want to spray some of these off and have a look at them.
Slide behind you here and look at this corner over here.
Yeah, I won't swing when you're close to me.
Yeah, good stuff. Man, I wish that one was bigger. Oh, now I see that it's all banded over here. That's what they're going
Oh, we got some crystals in this one, but real fragmented.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, little pocket of crystals in there.
Yep.
Let me see if I can get that on camera. I bet it won't record it well.
A lot of banding in there.
Ooh, that's pretty. Let me show that to the camera too, and then I'll return it to you. All right, let's see if we can get these here. Take a look at the banding on this piece. Isn't that beautiful? That was Todd's find. And myself just now. I don't know if you can see that in here. The light's not that great, but there's a pocket of crystals in there. It'll come home with me, so maybe I'll record it with better lighting later. I'm pulling out the big guns now. This is a Greenworks battery powered chisel and chisel drill. And I'm gonna use this on the rocks. And Todd over here is gonna tell me if it's too loud. It will be loud. We don't wanna do anything to be rude to the landowners, do anything to get us kicked out. So he's gonna let me know if I ought to stop using this. Where do I wanna work? I wanna get right here. That's too loud, isn't it? I don't want to do anything to get us into trouble. And honestly, it's not doing that great a job. As fun as I thought this tool would be, it is not as effective as I hoped it would be.
Walk down here a little bit and you try it on one of the other ones and also
Sure.
got a lot to do.
Yeah, you can judge for me. I don't want to do anything that's going to tick off the landowners. Okay, it's honestly not doing much though. It's vibrating the rocks. It's not actually going through anything. I vibrated a nice little piece off. It's gorgeous, the piece I vibrated off. I think maybe working it with a sledgehammer and a chisel will be the more effective method. See the piece I vibrated off of there though.
There's good color to it.
I'll throw that to the camera. All right, let's get this up in here. Not too shabby, huh? That's awfully pretty. Whew, this rock is hard. I'm starting to think it might not be worthwhile chiseling at the bedrock. It might just be better going through other people's scraps they left behind. Oh. Holy cow. Gotta say, A, for all this work, I better get this piece out, and B, it better be real nice looking. Holy cow. All right, well, Mark says I've got a gusher. All right, so when I was chiseling down there, I could feel rock fragments hitting my face. I wasn't too worried about it, but maybe I should have been a little more worried. When I say make sure you're wearing glasses, and if you're not a natural four eyes, make sure you're wearing safety glasses, I mean it. A rock fragment to the eye is really, really bad. There's a reason Native Americans use this flint for projectiles, for hunting, for knives, for general tools. They are sharp as hell. And it didn't really feel like much when I got hit in the face by that fragment, but apparently I nicked myself. So I'll clean myself up and we'll keep going. let's talk about safety gear since I've damaged this beautiful face of mine. I mean, this is the money maker right here. I'm really putting everything at risk. But gloves. You want gloves. They don't need to be super heavy duty gloves, but you need something to protect your fingers because this stuff is sharp. You do not want to be bleeding from your hands, and you very likely will be bleeding from your hands if you're hammering on this stuff for more than a few minutes. You want to have long pants, so if you fall down on the stuff, you're not slicing up your knees or your legs. Glasses, safety glasses, super important. Maybe even a face shield. If I was wearing a face shield, I wouldn't have gotten that. Or at least when you're hammering, turn your head away. Now it's a little bit risky because you want to be looking at what you're doing when you're hammering. At the same time, you don't want to be putting your face at danger. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, deciding what to do with that. But please do everything to protect yourself when you're out here. You're not going to do anything to get yourself killed unless you're being stupid, but you can hurt yourself and end up bleeding. Just do your best to stay safe and always come prepared.
Or you should take that cool piece and lay it down there where's your hammer and say, hey, look at that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you heard it here. Todd wants me to stage these videos.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You're everything that's wrong with YouTube, Todd. All right, so this corner here where I was working myself to death earlier, I did manage to get a few really nice pieces out, and I have been pulling some good stuff out by exploiting the natural cracks in the rock. I set this chisel into a pre-existing crack. Even if it's not necessarily exactly where I want the piece to come out, it does help to actually shatter these rocks. What I was doing before, huge amount of effort, no results. This, huge amount of effort, some results. So it's a big improvement.
Stuff's pretty hard.
It is extremely hard. All right. That looks like a natural crack I can work. Let's see what we can get off of here. There we go.
Oh yeah, there it is.
There you go. All right. Let's see if this was worth the effort. We can get them 90% out. They don't like to come out. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I bet that'll go through a tumbler nicely. What do you think? You're the tumbler expert though. That's probably too big to go in a tumbler. A standard size tumbler.
Standard size tumbler, yeah, but knock some corners off of it and
yeah,
throw one in there with some smaller stuff.
It's got some beautiful red banding on it. There's certainly more beautiful pieces in there. Let me see if I can get another piece or two out. Oh yeah, okay, now I'm excited. All right, this next piece is gonna be good. Because there is a crack opening up right here. Oh, I wonder if I can get that.
I was gonna say go behind right there and that one, it might follow it down.
Oh, come on, oh, please, 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 please. Come on, don't just shatter into a million pieces. Okay, it's coming, it's coming. Come on, come on. Yes,
there it is.
Yes, 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 there it is, there it is. All right. It's a little bit beat up from all the work I've done on it before, but I bet it'll polish up. Oh, you gotta prime the pump there. There we go. Ooh.
That's a beauty there.
Yes.
Look at that, man.
Yes, all right. Let's get a little on here too. Oh man, yeah, I can't wait to show this one off. Does this have agate in there? This has got a little agate in there. There's definitely agate banding in there. Take a look.
Wow, yeah, that's beautiful.
All right.
That's a nice one.
I think these, I think when I show these off close up, the cloudy conditions result in it looking kind of crappy. I may have to show these off again indoors later. but this is an absolute beauty. And then here's a small piece that came off of there. Hello. All right, well those pieces right there, they make this worth the trip, frankly, even without anything else. Whew. All right, success. I'm content. Todd, would you like into on this pit here?
No, go ahead. You're doing a fine job.
I might be done with it. I'm not sure I'm gonna find anything better than that.
I'm just gonna walk around and pick up some more off the top here.
All right. Thanks for joining me at Nethers Farm. A beautiful location with some absolutely spectacular flint. Some of it even a little bit agatized. Beautiful colors. A little bit dangerous. I'm leaving here with a little less blood than I came with, but I'd say it's well worth it. It's a private property that is publicly accessible. Pay location. Just pay the $10 fee is what it is currently, plus $1 per pound of rocks. It's an absolute bargain. And you know, I wish there were more places like this in the world. Don't try to cheat and steal from here or anything, because you do that, it's going to close down. We're going to have even less places to collect. You're going to be spending way more money on gasoline than you are on the rocks. So do your part, and let's try to make more places like this. Well, this place is a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed coming here. You should check it out too. Southern Ohio, Nethers Farm. All right, we're at Flint Ridge, the real Flint Ridge now. Flint Ridge, the location, the site, as opposed to Flint Ridge, the geological feature. Boy, that's been confusing. But this is Flint Ridge State Memorial. This is a no collecting site. This, we're just going to be looking at some of the historical mining pits that the Native Americans dug here as they collected flint for the tool making. When you come out here, Google Maps may tell you it's closed, all right? It's telling you the visitor center is closed. I'm not pointing the right way. Visitor center is closed. And the paths are still open. You can come out here anytime. So yeah, it's a nice spot. Come on out with us. All right, these would be, I presume, some of the ancient flint mining pits. So as you can see, this is not a very difficult trail to walk. It's only about a quarter of a mile. It's paved. There are benches along the way, and really absolutely anybody can walk this. There are longer trails in the area. I have not walked them, so I can't really speak to how great they are. But none of them seem to be longer than about a mile. This is probably about a 5-minute walk total. Very short. Might be worth checking out some of those longer trails. I wouldn't know. We haven't done that today. We haven't had lunch. We're both getting hungry, so we're gonna call it a day. So that's Flint Ridge. Nice little stop. The museum only seems to be open a few days a week. Perhaps in the summertime it's open every day. I don't know. Yeah, short little trail. Maybe not worth driving hours just to walk a little trail here, but if you're in the area, especially if you're at Nethers Farm, which is only about 10 minutes away, it's a nice little place to stop in and take a little walk, maybe have a picnic. There's plenty of picnic tables around, and see some of the ancient mining pits.